Hi gamers and developers, and welcome to another GDT vlog. On today's vlog, we're gonna talk about 7-day roguelite gem, and this one is a very interesting one, so stick up to the video and listen to everything. So today's gem, like I said, is 7-day roguelite gem. This is the 20 and 23 gem, so this year's. And I have here two team members that are gonna talk about the game that they created. But first, the gem. So this gem is a very different one from the normal. You have to make a roguelike game in just 7 days, but you have a period of 12 days to start working on the game. So between, I believe it's the 4th and 13th, you can try and figure out your teams, what you're gonna do, and then when you actually start working, the 7-day period starts counting. So that's the gimmick of this gem, so it's a very interesting one. Today we have the team members of Senior Unrest. So this is the game they made for this gem, and I'm gonna let them present themselves. So here we have.
I'm Carlos. I did all the programming in the game.
Hi, I'm Pedro, and I did mostly the game design.
And they had another team member, which is not here, but he was the artist, and his name is Nuno Batista. So now, I'm gonna ask you about the development of the game. This is the most interesting part, so please tell us about your game.
So Senior Arrest, it's a roguelike. It's very traditional in the sense that it's grid-based movement, and every action has a consequence. So we try to make the game challenging. The levels are randomly generated, so it's enemy placement, an item placement, and you have upgrades inside the runs, but not between them. So it's about a grandma wants to go to sleep, but her attic is infested by gremlins. So you actually don't really have combat. You just have to catch the gremlins. So you have a runner which runs from you, and all you have to do is get close to them to catch them, and a chaser that can actually damage you if you get close. So you need to use traps that you can buy or find around the maps in order to catch them.
Mm-hmm. So you classify this game as a strategy game, right?
It's a roguelike.
We try to follow as closely as possible to the roguelike rules. So as he said, we pretty much have three different actions: movement, place trap, and hit gremlin. And the way that roguelikes work is that when you take a turn, every single enemy and player or token with agency also moves. Mm-hmm. So you take a turn, the enemy take a turn at the same time. And then you take a turn, the enemy take a turn at the same time.
So you really have to think, do I want to do this?
Yes.
If I catch this gremlin, instead of moving away, this other gremlin is going to come near me, maybe.
Specifically, our game has a lot of puzzle typization in its genre. And the way that we try to proceed is that we have absolutely no meta progression. So if we start a game, we start a run.
Yeah.
It starts from the beginning, but between stages, you can buy some
items,
some items and some bonuses.
Mm-hmm. And that's the only progression that comes from one level to the other, right?
Yes, that's it. Okay. We also installed something that, although it isn't normal in most roguelikes, it is present in some, which is pretty much a counter. So moves will reduce a counter, and so that you don't just make random moves after, I think the default is 10.
Yeah, after 10 moves, you take a bit of damage.
Yeah.
So you try to, and you can upgrade that number so it's more than 10 turns before you take damage. Because our character is like getting sleepier and they need to stay awake.
If I'm not mistaken, your counter is represented by a clock, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We did
so every time grandma moves, the clock goes down.
So you want to be efficient, especially because there's gold for upgrades in the stage. You kind of want to manage, okay, I got all the gremlins, so I want to go get the gold or exit now so I don't lose health. It kind of depends on how much HP you have right now.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a very interesting game, I might say. I played a little bit, but I'm kind of interested on how you guys came up with this idea because it's very different from normal.
So usually when I'm brainstorming ideas for gems, I like to take a look at like games I like. I really have on a site called Backlog, my
This
list of
was
favorite
just
games.
genius. It was the smoothest.
And I also love movies. It's like my other hobby. And I have a letterbox, and I started making a list of like inspirations for the roguelike gem.
I think this was new to me. As an outsider, I'm gonna give a lot of props to Carlos on this because this was the 7-day roguelike gem as a particularity that doesn't have a theme. Never. The only theme that is like the genre restrictions for you to try and make a roguelike. They are very specific and slightly passive aggressive on how to follow the rules, which is quite funny. But this method was very good because he posted like 12 movies in front of us. He asked, which movies do you know? And the three of us was like, oh, we know this, this is interesting, this isn't. I have an idea for this or for this. And then we developed the two ideas side by side. That's why what he said was already a pretty developed idea. We already had some enemies, we already had the movement, we already have the partner AI, how we were going to do it. And then that's why what we said, this particular gem was quite interesting of having that 4-day grace period for you to think about things or for you to move up and down depending on your schedule.
Yeah.
This allowed us to really think on what we wanted, how to implement it before we started getting our hands dirty.
Okay, sounds good.
Last time I was on his share, it was the Metroidvania Gem vlog, and we were also like, we just ripped off the Secret of Nim because I also did the same thing. So
you
usually,
see a pattern here.
looking to things that inspired you is the best way to get ideas. They don't just come in a vacuum. Looking at stuff that you like and usually inspires you.
I normally do word association, and although it does bring some weirder cases, this was the smoothest start that I've ever had to a
That's
game.
very nice. And you had time to not be smooth. That's funny because you had much leeway for mistakes. So it's funny that you actually went with a smooth start.
This was like in 40 minutes, an hour in, we already had the theme. We already had. We knew what we wanted. We wanted traps. We already had most of the mechanics thought out. So it was great working with both Nuno and Carlos.
Okay, that sounds great to hear. So now I'm gonna ask you about your experience during the jam.
Yes.
So what did you guys learn throughout the jam?
I had to do random map generation. I had tried once, like ages ago, before even my first game, to do like a roguelike tutorial on Unity. And then it just wasn't working and I couldn't find the bug and I gave up. So this time I was like prototyping the basic movement and the
But this time it worked.
Yes. Well, there were some problems at some points, but I fixed all the game breaking bugs in time, I think. So basically what we ended up doing was like, I think it's called the Drunken Wanderer algorithm. And essentially it just keeps digging and making random map designs.
And these parameters pretty much lead you to create one big room that can or cannot have some walls in between, but the room is always connected to itself.
Yeah, so there's no isolated rooms blocked off by walls. There's always a corridors to connect every part.
After the part of creating the map, what we did was also following the random procedure thing. We had a difficulty setting so that we would define each round how many monsters we wanted, but we wanted some randomness in it, so we decided to actually place a couple of putting the spawns as random, so as well as the spawn for the grandma also.
The spawn for the grandma is actually like the first available position. It just goes monsters and everything else. It's just kind of totally random. As long as nothing spawns on top of each other.
On top, So that's a very interesting concept. So you just learned from here how to make procedural map generation and the Drunk Wanderer.
I think there are other methods. For example, there are tutorials on like to do something more traditional, like Rogue, the original, where it's like rooms connected by hallways. But I just kind of did the first tutorial I saw. Actually, because I was kind of nervous about how it would.
Actually, I think in this it worked better with just a simple, because the idea is that she has to go to the attic and all that, and
we're kind of puzzly, so the compact design helped.
It works better with a more compact film.
So on that, I'm gonna follow you with my next question. That is, what would you guys have done differently?
Oh yes, we had a couple of plans that we weren't able to follow, mostly because I was supposed to help in programming, but unfortunately I had a couple of other things to do, mostly with school and another GDT project. So I couldn't really help a lot Carlos, and that was the one sour thing I have to take out of from this experience. But we did have an idea, and we still have the script written by Nuno, mostly Nuno, of having the gremlin shout weird profanities at grandma, because that
not
was
PG-13.
No. They weren't that profane. It was more like randomly generated prompts, similarly from Cards Against Humanity, where you have a prompt and you can fill in the blanks with other prompts. And we also had an idea to resemble the annoyance that the gremlins were. That were, for each gremlin, we would have a voice of randomly booping sounds, and then every time you would kill one, there would be one less voice. Then grandma could go to rest. That was the things that we didn't implement.
That is a very creative idea. I enjoyed that one.
It would be like a endless array of and annoying sounds, so that grandma could finally say, I want to go to sleep, and
finally. These damn gremlins. Okay, so I believe I already kind of know what you're gonna say, but what was missing in your team?
Programming.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted at the end. Looking, especially when things just started breaking, and it's like, oh, you were working. What did I do that made this not work? The tile map collision was all wonky, and I tried to do it in multiple ways. It eventually worked out.
But it's not noticeable on the game.
So it's good. No game breaking bugs on that game.
I'm gonna assume that was one of the worst moments for you in the jam, because that was my next question. You kind of feel out it already, but what were your worst moments during the jam?
Yeah, mine was when I finally had some time to start programming, and I had left. I normally do my projects in my tower PC, which is here in Lisbon, and I went home to my hometown, and I tried to link to my PC, and I couldn't. And I was stuck on. I was gonna stay at my hometown until the end of the game jam. So I was like, now that I have time, now that I can help, I can't, because I can't access it.
Programmer problems.
Yes. So what I ended up doing was just, unfortunately, those 2 last days where I took the time to have at least put in some 8-10 hours of programming to try and help Carlos with the last few things. I couldn't help, and that feeling of uselessness was a bit annoying.
We were all very fortunate that I just don't have a job right now. Otherwise, that game would not be finished.
Yeah.
Okay, but so let's leave the depressive side of the jam, and let's talk about your best moments during the jam. What were they?
I think I was really enjoying early on just making progress, quickly prototyping all the mechanics. We basically had the grandma and the gremlins and the traps working on day 1 or 2. It was that fast. Map generation also took me just a day. So getting things together was actually pretty quick. So we had the bulk of the game done in 3 or 4 3 days, and the rest was just kind of putting the art, doing the balancing, and just piecing things together, which that's when the bugs arose.
Yeah. Okay. What about
for me, it was the beginning, having such a smooth start. I've always enjoyed the part of design. the senior Unrest was came off of one of my ideas, and having to people actually working on it and provide great input. Like the moment I said that the idea of the dialogue, Nunu just said, "Oh, I'm already writing," and I'm like, "Yo, we don't even know if we'll have time. I don't care. I'll write it." Was very very wholesome. It was a very wholesome moment.
I wasn't pestering with art anymore, so yeah, time.
It's very nice to see people actually make your story come true. So I'm gonna ask you next. What are your thoughts on the gem? So the gem organization, the gem itself. What did you think about it?
To be honest, the idea of like you have 12 days, but you're only supposed to use 7. So if you start on the first day, you gotta deliver in like 4 days before. That was just kind of weird. I'd rather like have a schedule
Okay.
for like everyone.
I think I understand why they did it, because this is a long time running. I did see a couple of Reddit posts about this run saying that this new implementation of using the variable time was very good for people that work, so that they could plan their days a bit better. So if you say it's a 1 week jam and you have 2 weeks to prepare it, you can choose the first week, the second week, half, just really in the middle. So you can, as long as the idea that they had was, let's create an honor system. Let's give the power. Okay, you guys have to do it in 7 days, but you can do it whenever 7 days is along this pace.
But the other thing was like, I don't think they really explained it that well. Like we only realized it when the jam started and they sent us like an email that sentence like all caps.
It was a bit confusing, I must admit.
Yes. I think the email was
very
they themselves understood that they were like, it's a 7 day. The name is in there, 7 day roguelike, and they give you 12. That's weird. So
So
the organization is also pretty good.
But would you recommend the gem to?
Yes.
Okay. So
I mean, if you like to do constricted, restricted programming with rules, because they are very specific on what is and what isn't a roguelike. So
Okay. So my final question for you guys, and this is the best one. What are your advice to the viewers?
Use Carlos' method. Literally grab some movies.
Just grab if you like
books, whatever.
Yeah, grab what you like, and just think about what inspires you. Like when we did Metroidvania Jam, like I was just looking at movies, and then like I had 4 movie-related ideas. By the end of it,
when it comes to jams that have an open theme, this is very good if you don't have a predetermined idea yet.
Like I usually also do it for like stuff with the team. Like, okay, what stuff do I like goes along with this team? So maybe I can bring something to it. Mechanically, if it's a game, or even movies, like things that happen in movies and story-wise, they can give you ideas from mechanics.
So if you're having trouble finding some story or a theme for your game, this is a good method to do it. So that's a good advice. So thank you guys for coming. And thank you guys for watching back at home. As always, remember to watch our other videos, and remember to keep updated on our social media and check everything we're doing, because it's all so amazing. And check this guy's game on our itch.io. And that's it. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.